Sometimes in life, we just hold on too tightly. We cling to people, to memories, to old situations that aren't helping us anymore. We keep carrying this heavy feeling, thinking maybe, just maybe, things will get better. But let me tell you something important. Not everything is meant to stay. Some people are like chapters in your life story, not the whole book. Not everyone is supposed to be in your life forever. This simple idea can be tough to hear. It comes from many heartbreaks, sleepless nights, and hard lessons life teaches us when we least expect them. We grow up thinking that the people we love will always be by our side, that our friendships and relationships will last forever. But real life is different. People come and go. Some are in your life for a short time, some for a special reason, and only a very few stay for a lifetime. Trying to hold on to everyone, expecting every connection to last forever, only brings pain. Life just wasn't made that way. When someone comes into your life, they bring joy, laughter, and sometimes even a little sadness. They help shape who you are. They change your thoughts and add new parts to your story. But not every part of your story lasts until the end. Some people are like short poems in a long novel. Their being there teaches you something. Their leaving often teaches you even more. If we learn to accept that not everyone will stay, we save ourselves from a lot of unnecessary hurt. Think about a tree in the fall. Its leaves drop off one by one. The tree doesn't beg the leaves to stay. It doesn't cry when its branches become empty. The tree knows spring will come again. The tree knows that losing something is a natural part of gaining something new. In the same way, when people leave, it's not always a bad thing. It can be a way for you to grow, to become stronger, to start something new that you can't see yet. We often think letting go means we failed. We feel like losing someone means we weren't good enough, that we did something wrong, or that we're incomplete without them. But the truth is, letting go isn't about losing. It's about seeing that their part in your life has finished. Maybe they came to teach you about love or patience. Maybe they came to break you so you could rebuild yourself stronger. Whatever the reason, their leaving isn't a sign of your weakness. It's life's way of helping you move forward. The more you try to hold on to people who aren't meant to stay, the harder your journey becomes. Imagine walking with a bag full of heavy rocks. Every person you can't let go of becomes one of those rocks. At first, you think you can carry them, but soon your shoulders ache, your steps slow down, and you lose energy. Life is like that. To walk freely, to move towards your future, you need to make your load lighter. You need to be brave enough to put down those rocks, to let go of the people who no longer walk easily with you. Sometimes we stay connected because of memories, the laughter, the late-night talks, the comfort of their presence. It all feels too precious to let go of. But memories are not chains. They can live in your heart without holding your soul captive. You can remember someone with thanks without dragging them into your future. You can cherish what was good without giving up what could be. This is the art of living, holding memories gently, not tightly, and being open to the future. Not everyone is meant to stay, and that's actually a hidden gift. If everyone stayed, we would never learn to be tough. We would never know how strong we truly are. We would never truly value those special people who do belong in our lives. People leaving makes new arrivals feel more important. The empty spaces remind us to really appreciate the ones who do stay. Letting go makes room for you to grow. This is one of those truths that sounds easy but feels hard to do. We are human, and as humans, we hold on. We hold on to people. We hold on to old habits. We hold on to ways of thinking that once felt safe but now hold us back. We keep relationships going long after they should have ended. We stay in jobs that drain us. We do the same things every day that don't help us anymore, simply because letting go feels like stepping into the unknown. Yet, the unknown is often exactly where growth begins. When your hands are full of the old, how can you ever be open to receive the new? Imagine a garden where the soil is never cleaned. Old weeds, dry leaves, and broken branches cover the ground. No matter how much you water it, no matter how much sun it gets, the garden won't grow well because the space is taken. Now imagine clearing that soil, removing what doesn't belong, making room for new seeds to be planted. Growth starts not by adding more, but by letting go of what no longer serves. Life works the same way. If you want to grow, you must first create space. And space is only made by letting go. We often avoid letting go because we're scared. Scared of being alone. Scared of regretting it. Scared that if we let go, nothing better will come. But growth never comes from fear. It comes from courage. Courage is when you choose to believe that what's coming can be better than what's behind you. Courage is when you loosen your grip and trust that an empty space isn't empty. It's full of possibilities. The very room you create by letting go becomes the base for something new to enter your life. Letting go also means making peace with change. Change is uncomfortable. It shakes us up. It makes us wonder about ourselves. But think about a butterfly. A butterfly can't exist unless the caterpillar lets go of its old body. Inside the cocoon, the caterpillar completely changes. Yet, from that difficult change comes something beautiful. In the same way, when we release what has ended in our lives, we feel uncomfortable. But from that discomfort comes growth that we could never imagine while we were still holding on. Many times, people think growth is about collecting things, experiences, achievements, connections. But real growth is also about taking away. It's about getting rid of bad relationships that steal your peace. It's about leaving places where your soul feels small. It's about letting go of the heavy feeling of mistakes that keep you stuck in the past. Every time you let go, you make space. And every space invites something better, something higher, something more fitting for who you are becoming. The beauty of letting go is that it teaches you to trust. Trust in yourself, trust in time, trust in how life works. When you let go of something familiar, you step into the unknown. And in that unknown, you discover how strong you are. You learn to rely not on what you cling to, but on what is inside you. That inner strength becomes the root of your growth. And then slowly, you start to notice changes. You feel lighter. You breathe easier. You see chances you couldn't see before because they were hidden behind things you refused to let go of. You meet people who bring you peace because you finally had room for them. You take risks you never dared to because your hands are no longer busy holding on to what was never truly meant for you. Focusing on yourself is not selfish. We live in a world where people often confuse taking care of yourself with being too proud. Where taking time for your own well-being is seen as not caring about others. From childhood, many of us are taught to put others first, to make sacrifices, to give even when we have nothing left. But the truth is, you can't give what you don't have. When you ignore yourself, when you ignore your own needs, when you always put yourself last, eventually you break. And when you break, you can't truly be there for anyone else either. Focusing on yourself isn't about turning away from people. It's about building the strength to stand strong so that when you do help others, you do it with love and wholeness, not with exhaustion. Think of it like a lamp. A lamp can only light a room if it has oil or electricity. Without that, no matter how pretty the lamp is, it stays dark. In the same way, if you don't focus on yourself, your health, your growth, your peace, you can't bring light into anyone else's life. The lamp isn't selfish for needing oil. It's natural. You are not selfish for needing time to heal, to rest, to dream. You are human, and humans can't do well when they're running on empty. When you start to focus on yourself, you learn to listen to your own heart. So many voices surround us every day. Family, friends, society, social media, all telling us who to be, what to do, how to live. In all this noise, we forget our own voice. We forget what truly matters to us. But when you pause and choose yourself, you hear that voice again. It tells you what makes you happy, what drains you, what dreams are calling you. That inner voice is the most honest guide you will ever have. But you can only hear it when you are brave enough to look inward. There's also a strength that comes from focusing on yourself. People may come and go, opportunities may rise and fall. But the relationship you have with yourself stays constant. If you take care of it, if you respect it, you build a steady strength inside you that no storm can shake. It's like building a home within your soul. A safe place that no one can take away. This inner home is built with self-respect, with boundaries, with care. Every time you choose yourself, instead of trying to please others at the cost of your own peace, you add another brick to this home. And the stronger this home becomes, the more unshakable you feel in a world that is always changing. Focusing on yourself also teaches others how to treat you. When you value your time, people learn not to waste it. When you respect your boundaries, people learn to respect them. When you treat yourself with love, people start to treat you with that same love. You set the example for how others should be with you. If you ignore yourself, you silently give others permission to ignore you too. But when you show that you value your worth, you inspire others to do the same. It's important to understand that focusing on yourself isn't about cutting everyone out or living alone. It's about finding a good balance. It's about knowing that you can't keep giving without also refilling your own cup. It's about knowing that giving to yourself isn't taking away from others. It's actually making sure that what you give to them comes from a place of fullness. When you are whole, your relationships get better, your work gets better, your view of life gets better. Everything in your life improves when you improve. And one of the most beautiful parts of focusing on yourself is what you discover along the way. You discover strengths you didn't know you had, passions you had hidden, dreams you thought were impossible. You start to see yourself not as someone constantly looking for approval, but as someone who is enough, worthy, and capable. This change shifts everything. The way you walk, the way you talk, the way you live. It gives you freedom. It gives you clarity. It gives you peace. Forgive for your own peace, not theirs. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. People think it's something you give to others, like you're doing them a favor. But the truth is, forgiveness isn't about setting them free. It's about setting yourself free. Holding on to anger, bad feelings, and bitterness is like carrying fire in your hands while expecting the other person to burn. You walk around with that fire, but it's you who gets burned every day. Forgiveness is putting that fire down, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace. When someone hurts us, the pain is real. Pretending it doesn't hurt, pretending it doesn't matter, only pushes the pain deeper. And hidden pain can grow like roots, twisting into our thoughts, changing how we act, and coloring how we see things. Every time you remember the hurt, it reopens the wound. You might find yourself reliving the bad event, playing conversations over and over, imagining what you could have said or done differently. But truthfully, replaying the past won't change it. Forgiveness is when you decide that the past will no longer control your present. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean you say what happened was okay. It doesn't mean you let the same bad behavior happen again. And it doesn't mean you have to welcome that person back into your life. Forgiveness is not about making up. It's about letting go. It's the decision to stop letting the hurt control your peace of mind. When you forgive, you're not saying what happened was right. You're saying you won't let what happened ruin your future. That difference is important, because many people don't want to forgive, thinking it's weak, when in fact, it's one of the strongest things you can do. Peace comes when you choose yourself over your pain. Your mind can't be free if it's holding grudges. Every grudge is like a chain, and the more grudges you have, the heavier your spirit feels. You can't move forward if you're chained to yesterday. Forgiveness is breaking those chains one by one. The moment you let go of angry feelings, you notice how much lighter your soul feels. You find room for joy, for calm, for growth. Because bitterness no longer fills every part of your heart. Forgiveness is also a way of respecting yourself. When you refuse to forgive, the person who hurt you keeps living in your thoughts for free. They might go on with their life, not even knowing about the storm inside you, while you keep reliving their actions again and again. Why give them that power? Forgiveness is taking your power back. It's saying, you don't get to control my mood, my nights, my energy anymore. That power belongs to me, and I choose peace. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. We often carry guilt for years, punishing ourselves for choices we made when we didn't know better, blaming ourselves for trusting the wrong person, for staying too long, for leaving too soon. Forgiving yourself isn't easy because the voice inside can be harsher than any critic outside. But without forgiving yourself, your peace will always be incomplete. You are human, and being human means making mistakes, learning, and growing. Forgiving yourself means allowing yourself to move forward without carrying the heavy weight of shame. The process of forgiveness takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. Some days you'll feel free. Other days the anger will come back. That's a normal part of healing. Forgiveness isn't just one moment. It's something you practice. Each time you feel the pain rise, you choose again to let it go. And with each choice, your heart becomes softer. Your mind becomes calmer, and your soul becomes lighter. Eventually, the memories lose their sharp edges. The wound becomes a scar, and the scar becomes a story of strength instead of a source of pain. Heal your heart before you give it away. Too often, we quickly give parts of ourselves to others while we are still carrying hurts that haven't been dealt with. We think love will fix us, that relationships will heal what life has broken, that another person's presence will cover the scars we hide. But when you hand over a heart that is still bleeding, you are not offering love. You are offering pain wrapped up to look like love. Healing isn't just something you owe yourself. It's also a kind thing to do for those you let close to you. An unhealed heart looks for approval, holds on too tightly, fears being left alone, and creates patterns of hurt that keep happening again and again. Healing your heart starts with being honest. It means admitting that you are hurting, admitting that certain experiences left you with scars, admitting that you're not as strong as you pretend to be. This honesty can feel uncomfortable because it removes the masks we wear to convince the world that everything is fine. No wound ever healed by being hidden. A wound heals when it is seen, when it is cleaned, when it is cared for. The same is true for the heart. When you admit your pain, you give yourself permission to start the healing process. Healing is also about forgiveness. Not just forgiving others for what they did, but also forgiving yourself for what you allowed, for what you put up with, for what you didn't know back then but have learned now. Carrying guilt and regret is like carrying heavy rocks in your chest. They weigh you down. They stop you from breathing easily. They remind you of every mistake, as if you're not allowed to move forward. But forgiveness is like putting those rocks down one by one. It doesn't erase the past, but it frees you from being stuck in it. With every act of forgiveness, your heart becomes lighter, stronger, softer. When you take time to heal, you also learn about boundaries. A broken heart often struggles to say no. It often fears being rejected. It often believes that being needed is the same as being loved. But a healed heart knows its worth. It knows that saying no isn't mean. It's protection. It knows that love isn't shown by suffering but by respect and balance. Boundaries become easier to create when your heart is whole because you no longer confuse giving up yourself with love. You realize that protecting your peace is an act of self-respect, and those who truly care will never ask you to give it up. Healing isn't fast, and it doesn't happen in a straight line. Some days you'll feel free. Some days the memories will come back like waves. But even with this up and down, there is progress. Every step you take to understand yourself, to nurture your soul, to find peace when you're alone is a step toward healing. You might not notice it day by day, but one morning you will wake up and realize the ache has lessened, the anger has faded, and the fear has let go. That is the quiet miracle of healing. It happens slowly, Then all at once, when your heart is healed, the love you give changes. It's no longer desperate, no longer tied to the fear of loss, no longer dependent on someone else's approval. It becomes steady, peaceful, generous. You give not because you feel empty, but because you are full. You love not because you need someone to complete you, but because you already feel whole within yourself. A healed heart creates healthy connections because it's no longer looking to be saved. It knows its value and invites others to walk beside it, not to carry its brokenness. Self-love is the best investment you can make. Many people spend their whole lives investing in everything but themselves. They pour energy into relationships, into careers, into things they own, always hoping that outside success or approval will finally bring them peace. But the truth is, nothing on the outside can truly fill the emptiness that comes from ignoring yourself on the inside. When you learn to love yourself, you're not just making a choice for today. You're making an investment for every day that follows. It's the foundation for your happiness, your strength, and your growth. Self-love is not about being arrogant. It's about accepting yourself. It's looking in the mirror and saying, "I am good enough just as I am." It's forgiving yourself for mistakes you can't change. It's refusing to let others decide your worth. It's allowing yourself to rest when you're tired, to say no when something isn't good for you, to dream without apologizing for it. Self-love is giving yourself the kindness you freely give to others, but often hold back from yourself. It's not about thinking you're perfect. It's about knowing you are worthy, even with your flaws. When you invest in self-love, you build strength that helps you through life's challenges. A person who doesn't love themselves constantly looks for approval from others. And when that approval disappears, they fall apart. But a person who has built self-love can stand strong even in quiet times, even without praise, because their sense of worth doesn't depend on what others say. That stability is priceless. Because life will always have critics, failures, and rejections. If your foundation relies on outside things, it will shake with every storm. If your foundation is self-love, no storm can destroy it. Self-love also changes how you let others treat you. When you respect yourself, you don't put up with disrespect. When you value your time, you don't waste it on people who drain you. When you believe in your worth, you don't settle for less than you deserve. This doesn't mean you become harsh or unkind. It means you set boundaries that protect your peace. And boundaries built on self-love are not walls that keep people out. They are gates that allow the right people in while keeping harm away. Investing in self-love also helps you grow. You start to take care of your body not because you want to look like someone else, but because you care about your health. You follow your dreams not because you need to prove something to the world, but because your soul feels alive when you do. You spend time alone, not because you're avoiding people, but because you enjoy your own company. These daily choices create a life where happiness isn't borrowed from others, but grown within yourself. The benefits of this investment show up in small ways. When you fail, you don't fall apart in shame. You remind yourself that mistakes are lessons. When someone leaves, you don't lose yourself. You remind yourself that you are still whole. When life tests you, you don't give up in sadness. You remind yourself that you have survived before and you can survive again. Self-love is the steady voice inside that keeps you moving when everything outside tries to stop you. And perhaps the most beautiful part of self-love is that it overflows. When you truly love yourself, you love others better. You give without resentment. You support without losing yourself. You listen without needing to be praised back. Because your cup is full. Your giving is pure. This is why self-love is never selfish. It is the root of every healthy relationship, every kind act, every dream chased with courage. The more you invest in yourself, the more you have to offer to the world. Those meant for you will never leave you confused. Real connections are not built on unclear messages, half-truths, or constant doubt. When someone truly belongs in your life, their presence brings clarity, not chaos. You don't have to keep guessing where you stand. You don't have to beg for attention. You don't have to live with unanswered questions. Confusion is often a sign that something isn't right, that the energy between you two is unbalanced, and that their role in your journey might not be for long. Love, friendship, support, when real, don't leave you worried. They bring peace. So many people waste years trying to figure out the actions of those who only give them little bits of themselves. They overthink every word, every silence, every action, hoping to find comfort in places that never offer it. This endless confusion drains your spirit because deep down, you already know the truth. If someone values you, they will show it. If someone wants you in their life, you won't need to chase them. Being consistent isn't hard. It doesn't need games, tricks, or uncertainty. Those who are truly meant for you will never make you feel like just one option. They will make you feel like a clear choice. Confusion often comes from focusing on what someone could be instead of what they are. You see their potential, how they might change, how things might get better if only conditions were different. But living on potential keeps you stuck and waiting, not truly living. Those who are meant for you won't need you to constantly imagine a better version of them. Their actions will already show they care. They won't leave you guessing because their words and actions will match. Clarity is not something you should have to beg for. It's what naturally happens in a real connection. Life becomes easier when you understand this truth. Instead of asking yourself endlessly, did I do something wrong? Did I say too much? Am I not enough? You start realizing that the right people don't put you in that position. They make you feel sure without being asked. They show up without needing reminders. They make time for you without excuses. You stop chasing and start watching. With time, you learn that confusion isn't a test you need to pass. It's a signal you need to listen to. It's important to remember that people who are unsure about you are not necessarily bad people. They are just not meant for your path. Everyone is dealing with their own problems, carrying their own worries, and sometimes their inability to be clear has more to do with them than with you. But that doesn't mean you should stay in their uncertainty. You deserve connections that bring peace, not worry. You deserve relationships where your presence isn't questioned but cherished. The moment you accept this, you start to attract people who value clear communication as much as you do. Confusion is heavy, but clarity is healing. Think about how it feels when someone looks at you and says exactly what they mean. When their actions leave no room for doubt. When you feel safe and secure with them. That security helps you grow, to dream, to give freely without fear. The right people don't just take up space in your life. They create an environment where your soul can breathe easily. That kind of presence can't be faked and it can't be forced. It's either there or it isn't. Those who are meant for you will never hide behind silence. Never make you chase answers that should be freely given. Never keep you wondering about your worth. Their steady presence will become your certainty. Their loyalty will become your calm. Their being there will be your proof. And when you finally feel that kind of clarity, you will wonder why you ever settled for confusion before. Work on your dreams, not their approval. Too often, people spend their lives looking for applause instead of pursuing their purpose. We are taught to look over our shoulders, to worry about what others will say, to measure our success by the cheers we get. But the danger of living this way is that you never truly live for yourself. You become a performer on a stage built by other people's opinions, changing your every move to please the audience. And the truth is, no matter how hard you try, not everyone will clap for you. Some will criticize, some will doubt, some will ignore. If you connect your motivation to their approval, you will always be controlled by their judgment. Dreams, on the other hand, are very personal. They are like whispers from your soul, calling you towards something bigger. Your dreams weren't given to anyone else. They were given to you because only you have the heart, the vision, and the ability to make them happen. When you stop looking for approval and start building your dream, you begin to live with clarity. You stop asking, will they like it? And start asking, does this make me feel whole? Does this fit with who I am becoming? That change is where real progress begins. Working on your dreams takes courage because it often means walking a path that others might not understand. People will question you. They will warn you. They will project their own fears onto you. Some will even laugh at you. But remember, their lack of belief in your dream doesn't mean it's impossible. It means they have their own limits. You weren't born to live their vision. You were born to live your own. Every great achievement in history was once laughed at, doubted, and dismissed until it was finally done. The difference between those who succeeded and those who didn't was simple. They worked on their dreams without waiting for approval. Approval is temporary, but feeling fulfilled lasts. The cheers of others might feel good for a moment, but they fade quickly. People forget, their attention moves on. And if you build your self-worth on that applause, you will always need more to feel complete. But when you work on your dreams, the sense of purpose you create stays with you, whether anyone notices or not. That is the beauty of inner fulfillment. It can't be taken away because it comes from inside, not from the outside world. There will be times when you feel discouraged, when progress is slow, when doubt creeps in. In those moments, seeking approval becomes even more dangerous because it distracts you from the real work. You might start changing your dream to fit what others expect, cutting its edges to make it more acceptable, reshaping it until it no longer looks like what your heart imagined. But a dream that's been watered down is no dream at all. Protect it. Nurture it. Work on it quietly if you have to. Let what you achieve speak louder than your words. When you commit yourself to your dream, you start to discover parts of yourself you never knew existed. You find strength when things go wrong, creativity when faced with challenges, and courage when you're alone. These discoveries are rewards that no amount of approval could ever replace. They are the building blocks of your growth, the proof that your journey is worth it, even if no one claps, even if no one notices. The fact that you are becoming more of who you were meant to be is victory enough. Living for approval means living small, but living for your dream means living truly. You can't do both at the same time. Every time you choose your dream over their opinion, you take one step closer to freedom. Every time you put effort into your purpose rather than their praise, you add another brick to the foundation of your future. And one day, the same people who doubted you may admire what you've built. But by then, their approval will no longer matter because you will already know your worth lies in the work, not in the applause. Your worth is not decided by others. From a very young age, most of us are taught to judge ourselves by what those around us think. We look for praise from parents, approval from teachers, acceptance from friends, and later, validation from society. Somewhere in this endless cycle of seeking recognition, we forget to ask ourselves the most important question: what do I think of me? The danger of letting others decide your worth is that their opinions change, their moods shift, their expectations grow. And if you tie your value to them, you will always live like a leaf in the wind, blown here and there without direction. Your worth is not based on how many people like you, follow you, or talk about you. Numbers don't measure how important you are. You are not more valuable when you are praised and not less valuable when you are criticized. A diamond is still a diamond even if no one notices it lying in the dirt. In the same way, your worth is constant even if others don't see it. What others think are just their own views, not the ultimate truth about who you are. It's easy to fall into the trap of wanting approval. When someone compliments us, we feel good. And when someone criticizes us, we feel crushed. This constant up and down leaves us powerless, like a puppet controlled by everyone else. True freedom begins when you cut those strings and decide that your value is not open for discussion. You are worthy simply because you exist, because you are human, because you have a unique soul inside you that no one else has. That truth doesn't need anyone's confirmation. Think about the sun. It shines every day whether people look up to appreciate it or not. Sometimes clouds cover it. Sometimes storms hide it. But the sun doesn't stop shining because of temporary shadows. Your worth is the same. Just because someone doesn't see your light doesn't mean it has disappeared. Temporary situations, temporary judgments, temporary misunderstandings cannot erase your lasting value. When you stop judging yourself by others, you start to find strength within. You begin to notice your own growth, your own kindness, your own courage. You appreciate the small wins that no one claps for. You celebrate the quiet progress that no one else sees. This is the kind of validation that lasts because it comes from inside. It doesn't fade when people change. It doesn't disappear when applause stops. It stays with you because it's based on truth, not opinion. Sometimes people project their own worries onto you. They might call you not good enough, too much, or undeserving. But what they say often shows their own hurts, not your reality. If you accept their words as truth, you shrink yourself to fit into their small view of you. But when you know your worth, their words lose power. You can listen without taking it in. You can understand without internalizing it. You can walk away without guilt. Knowing your worth gives you the courage to stand tall even when the world tries to bring you down. Your worth is also not defined by what you achieve. Achievements are good, but they are not the base of your value. Success might add to your story. Failure might slow your journey, but neither changes the fact that you are valuable no matter the outcome. You are not your job. You are not your social status. You are not your mistakes. You are more than titles, more than roles, more than what society labels you as. You are worthy in the quietness of simply being, even when you are doing nothing at all.